Have you ever personally killed someone who opposed you?
في خلاف معه لم يحصل هذا على الإطلاق.
Never happened. It has never happened. I have never killed anybody.
He has no one who can talk to him about the costs of doing this or the impact of doing that. There is no one who will dare to raise a voice.
So when Saddam Hussein decides to move into Kuwait and turn the world against him, it's a decision made in isolation. An isolation so complete that Israeli intelligence has even looked at handwriting analysis, trying to penetrate the workings of Saddam's mind.
The moment I saw this handwriting, it reminded me immediately of the handwriting of Stalin. The line is so similar. The drive is very strong. The need for attention is exactly the same.
And the Israelis aren't the only ones who draw that comparison.
He sees himself as a kind of Arab Stalin, somebody who rules by a combination of terror, some degree of social welfare, distributing the wealth which he gets from oil, and by military confrontation with enemies outside.
We had heard that Stalin was a personal hero.
كان بطل في شعبه.
No doubt, amongst his people, he was a hero.
أي بمعنى أنه عمل
In the sense that he
موقف صلب في الحرب العالمية الثانية.
In the sense that he took a very tough position, a very strong position during the Second World War.
في هذا الجانب.
In this respect only.
مع ذلك نحن لم نقل عنه بأنه بطل.
However, I have never said that he was a hero.
But we couldn't help noticing during our conversation that another name seemed to be very much on Saddam Hussein's mind. 3 times he brought up Nicolae Ceausescu of Romania, the brutal, isolated dictator who was executed by his own people. Hussein kept insisting that he would not suffer a similar fate, and told us that Americans don't understand survival in the Third World.
ولكن هل الحرية الآن
Is individual liberty now in our country as much exercised in our own country as it is in the United States?
لو العالم الثالث.
But in countries of the Third World,
عسكري.
then talk of this nature may lead to a collaboration, an agreement that is a plan, a scheme, a conspiracy for a military action.
And at this point in the interview, we were startled by another example of his isolation. Mr. President, as long as you have a law, a revolutionary decree, which authorizes the death penalty for insulting the president, everyone's life is in jeopardy here.
من يهين الرئيس.
In your country, the law does not punish whoever tries to insult the president?
No, it certainly does not. Half of the country would be imprisoned, 3/4 of the country.
أنا أقول لا يحاسب الذي يهين رئيس الدولة.
And no measures will be taken against anybody insulting the president?
To the contrary, they get their own television show.
في العراق رئيس الدولة يعتبروه العراقيين رمز.
In Iraq, the president of Iraq is regarded by the people of Iraq as a symbol, representing something.
His life has been successful by using force. He understands force. He knows that force tends to order things in the Middle East. My impression is that he's a man who will use it as far as he can, and yet if he sees in fact that it's not in his interest to continue, he'll stop.
In Saddam Hussein's view, if you've got the weapons, rattle them. In 2 to 5 years, he'll probably have a nuclear weapon to rattle too.
No, that I say to you clearly now, that Iraq is not in possession of nuclear weapons.
And in search of the technology?
لا أجيب على هذا.
I shall not answer that.
In the meantime, he said, you do what you have to do to stand up against the big powers. Presumably, even lie to your friends in Egypt, if it means distracting the U.S. from your intentions. And if it comes to war, using chemical weapons. He used them before against Iran and against the Kurdish people of his own country. He told us it was like Hiroshima. He had to win. General Colin Powell has assured Americans that U.S. troops are ready for any chemicals Hussein possesses. But we kept thinking about something he said to us, that he had chemicals not even Israel could defend itself against.
لا يجدي معها نفعا.
This mask, the anti-chemical warfare mask that Israel is now distributing, would not really be good for certain kinds of chemical weapons.
كيف نشرح إمكانياتنا؟
So you see how I'm being frank with you in giving you the kind of weapons that we have.
إسرائيل لا تفعل هذا.
Our potential in this field.
Nick?